All right, in this video, we're going to learn 4 chords on the acoustic guitar that are literally going to allow you to play hundreds of songs. And the beauty is you're going to learn your very first chord progression. We're going to learn the chords of G, D, E minor, and C. And if you change the order of those chords, again, it opens up even more opportunities to be able to play more songs. So let's dive right in and get started. What I'm going to do here is present a couple teaching aids. You're going to see this alternate view. It's going to have a little bit of a closer view of the fretboard. And I'm going to be putting up chord diagrams like so. And so you're going to see this on the screen here. Let me get this D out of the way. And by the way, I covered in another video how to read these chord diagrams. So I'll do a short review here, but I don't want to cover the same material. So I will link that video. It's actually part of this playlist of learning how to play the guitar fast. And so you're going to see these chord diagrams. The first chord I want to show you here is G, like you can see on the screen there. And just a quick review of that again. Hop over to that other video for an in-depth of how to read these chord diagrams. But the basic gist of it is if you turn your guitar, it's as if you were looking at the guitar like this horizontally. And I know it's flipped, you know, these chord diagrams are vertical, not horizontal like that, but it's as if you are looking at the guitar like that. And so you're going to see what the strings that you're using here for this G chord are the high E string, 3rd fret. And the reason there's a 3 in that black dot there is that's telling you you're using your ring finger, like so. And so you're using, let me show you that there, try to get these fingers out the way. You're fretting 3rd fret right behind the metal fret. And then the next note up is all the way up here on our A string. You're using our pointer finger. That's why it's got a 1. So like that. And then the last finger is, if I bring this middle finger up, 3rd fret again, high or low E this time, sorry, excuse me. And it's actually the same note. Those two are the same note. And it's 3rd fret, low E string. And then you've got this one down here, like we said. And then the rest of the strings are open. That's why you can see that open circle there. So G chord is going to sound like so. You could always pause the video and really get a feel for this. Make sure you've got that chord under your fingers there. But that is your basic G chord. And I touched on this a little bit in the other video, but again, just some quick refreshers here. Maybe you haven't seen that one. Is if you're getting that kind of a sound where you know you're not hearing the notes ringing out, or maybe they're buzzy like that, it's a nasty sound. You want to check 2 things. So make sure that you are putting your fingers right behind the fret, right behind this metal part here. You want to be right behind that. So not on top of it. You'll get that muted sound right behind it. And then you also want to make sure you're not too far back. Otherwise, that's where you get that nasty buzzy sound. So again, get that G chord comfortable. The next chord that you're going to need is our D chord. And we actually learned this one in the other video covering your very first chord, but this is your D chord. So this one, you notice you're not using these top 2 strings, the low E string and the A string. You are starting here with this D, and then you've got your index finger on 2nd fret, G string, the 3rd string up, your ring finger on the 3rd fret of your B string, the 2nd string up, and then you've got your middle finger on 2nd fret, high E strings, the 1st string, the bottom string of the guitar. So that's your D chord. So now you've got G to your D. And then the next chord is E minor. So this one's nice and simple. You're only using 2 fingers. The rest of the notes on the guitar there are open, like you can see with those open circles. So you've got this. This is your E chord. And so let's go through this slowly here. We've got a nice big open E. Nice big open E, and then you've got 2nd fret. This is with your middle finger, 2nd fret on the A string. So this is your 5th string up from the bottom of the guitar, or your 2nd string down. And then right below that, 2nd fret as well with your ring finger. So there we go. And then you just keep all these strings open. So nice big full chord. And the reason it's an E minor is you can kind of hear it's got like a sad sound. So we won't get into a ton of music theory right now, but you can hear it's kind of a sad sounding chord. And then lastly, the other chord you are going to need is a C chord. And this is a good standard C. So let's work from the bottom up on this one. You've got an open E, like that, just no fret. Then the next one up, you've got this B string, so the second string, excuse me, up from the bottom, first fret, and then you're using your index finger, your pointer finger, and then the next one up, you skip this string, so that one's open G string, the third string up. Next note is this middle finger on the D string, so that's your fourth string up from the bottom, or third string down from the top, and you're using your middle finger for the second fret. And then the next note is one more string up, your A string, so the second string down, or the fifth string from the bottom. You're doing third fret with your ring finger, and that's your C chord. So you've got that note there, third string of the A string, with your, again, you can see your ring finger. Next one down is your middle finger, one fret back, but one string down, and then on your B string here, the second string up from the bottom, got your index finger or your pointer finger on the first fret, and that's your C chord. And you can see you don't play this top, you don't play this low E, and so you can either just not play it, you could start there, or I actually use, I got kind of fat fingers, so I use the meat of this finger to actually mute that high E string, or sorry, the low E string, the first string on the guitar. So let's recap here. What you've got is a G chord, then you've got your D chord, and then you've got your E minor chord, excuse me, and then you've got your C chord. So I'm going to take those chord diagrams off for a second there and just show you how this works in the context of playing, again, your very first chord progression and literally hundreds of songs. And I'm a worship leader myself, so translate this into many, many worship songs that you can play, but also kind of like lots of just rock and pop. This is kind of a pop rock chord progression. And so you got G. And if you just did 4 counts, D, E minor, C, put a little musicality to it, a little strumming. And again, don't worry if you haven't used a pick or anything yet. I will be doing other videos to cover those techniques, but literally you could take your thumb and just, place it across the strings like so, or strum it down the strings like so. Just 4 strums, 3, 4, E minor, 2, 3, 4, to the C, 2, 3, 4. And just, again, it's just very musical. You can even play around with starting to go kind of up and down. Again, even if you don't know strumming technique yet, you can kind of use your thumb as a pick, like so, down, up, down, up. All I'm using is my thumb and kind of using the back side of the thumb or the nail on the way up. So meaty part on the way down, show you that there. So kind of meaty part on the way down, and then the way up, I'm turning it kind of sideways and using this again, let me get that in focus for you. But all I'm doing there is flipping what side of the finger I'm using, what side of the thumb. So down, up, 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 seed. And I want to say this, you might be going, well, man, I can't do them that fast yet. Hey, that is okay. It's going to take time. Slow it down. If you need to go as slow as you need to go to get them nice and clean, man, even if it's like, seems painfully slow, 2, 3, 4, change. Right? The goal is not to be able to just zoom and get them super fast right away in terms of the speed of which you change the chords. If you need to slow it down, that is totally okay. I would highly encourage that, actually, because if you, just a little tip here for learning music in general, if you try for speed right away, you're going to become a sloppy player. And it's not going to sound very good, but if you build up your muscle memory, music is a lot of muscle memory over time, you'll play the chord changes super cleanly, and actually speed will come faster than you think. So that's just a little bit of a tip, but go as slow as you need to go. And one more tip, like I said, is if you change the order with which you play these chords, that opens and unlocks a whole new variety of songs that you can now be playing. Because again, these chords all work together. They're in the same chord family or key, if you will. And we'll cover some of the music theory concepts in another video, but let me give you an example of this. I can start with the D chord, strum again, 3, 4, go to the E minor, 2, 3, 4 to the C. And you can note now we're doing them in a different order to the G, right? And this is this is a different chord progression, a different song. And so you can do this. You can start on the C to the G. Now we haven't changed keys, but we are essentially playing a different song, different chord progression. Worship leaders, if you know the song Waymaker, this is actually the chord progression for Waymaker. So C, G, D, and then E minor. And so, again, you can play hundreds and hundreds of songs with just these 4 chords. I hope that's helpful. Let me know what would be helpful for you learning the guitar. I would love to create content around that. I know when I was learning the guitar, I wish I had a resource like YouTube and people creating content like this to make it easier to learn the guitar faster. And so please let me know in the comments what you would like to learn, what you're having trouble learning on the guitar, and I would love to help you out in that. And hope this was helpful today. If you're a worship leader, would love to get a guide into your hands. There's a guide I created that is 6 practices that you can implement this week to lead worship with greater confidence and not an arrogant, kind of like prideful confidence, but a godly confidence. So again, I'm going to put up an end screen here where you can link to influentialworship.com and get that free guide, completely free. And again, you can implement these practices and be on your way to leading worship with greater confidence this week. Thanks for tuning in. Subscribe for more content like this. Again, I want to be able to help people out learning the acoustic guitar and just help fellow worship leaders out. We'll see you in the next one.